Okay, all the silver investors and the silver questions and the silver haters, just breathe. It's going to be okay. No one wanted to talk about silver, specifically the media, when silver was going up. I mean, where were my everyday headline stories about silver when it went from 1850 to 25, from 25 to 32, from 32 to nearly $50 an ounce? Where were my everyday headlines? I didn't see them. Just want to take a snapshot of what's on MarketWatch.com right now. Okay, we've got a few stories about silver. We've got commodities selling off. We've got this phony jobs number from the Ministry of Information, about 244,000 jobs being created. And then next to that, we have the Dow Jones headed for 16,000. Okay, I want you to think about how mucked up this is. How's the Dow going to go up to 16,000 if commodities are falling apart? Because obviously then you're basically saying we're heading into this deflationary cycle. I really believe we're headed for a deflationary head fake. And maybe I'll do a more detailed analysis on it next Friday on Vision Victory. By the way, if you have not checked out Vision Victory today, please check it out now. Watch the video, The Debt Crisis, share it with friends, family, and send it off to your favorite blog. Okay, so back to this video. Here's a deflationary head fake. You've got the debt ceiling basically breached. I mean, it is right there where it's going to be, breaking the law as far as the debt ceiling goes. You've got QE supposedly that's supposed to end, and I assure you it will not. In fact, they've already stated that they're going to take a lot of the money that's maturing in other bonds and recycle them into purchasing treasuries. The Federal Reserve is purchasing roughly 70% of U.S. debt. Okay, it is impossible for them to stop. Now, they may repackage it and call it something else, because remember, this whole QE, quantitative easing, that's called printing money. So basically, we had printing money, and they repackaged it and called it QE. So don't be surprised if they repackage QE, and now we're going to call it something else. It's just like stimulus, same thing. You're injecting liquidity. You're printing money. You're greasing the wheels, as Keynes would call it. Now, when you look at this overall picture, what's going on? I mean, here's people panicking about the silver market. Silver was overdue for a correction. I can't agree with that comment more. Okay, silver went parabolic. It went straight up. It needed to come down. I've said for weeks that I was uncomfortable with the charts. Once it got past about $36, $37, it just started to keep going. But, of course, I'm not going to complain because I own about 75% of my net worth is in physical silver or silver-related stocks. So, it needed a correction. People were taking profits. That's what investors do. And the CME added to the problem, a significant problem. Instead of it being a minor correction, they caused the panic by doing not 1, 2, 3, not 4. I mean, that would have been unprecedented to do something like that in a week, 3 or 4. They did 5 margin hikes in about 8 or 9 days. Just completely unprecedented. I personally have never heard of anything happening like that. So I want everybody to realize that this was not the market correcting silver, even though, yes, the market was probably going to have a silver correction. But the silver market has already been manipulated, and we've talked about how it's been manipulated in the past. But let's just focus on what happened in the last 10 days, okay? The CME Group hiked margins, forcing investors to either sell their silver or add cash to their accounts. So obviously, if you're not liquid, you got to sell something. So all of a sudden, you cause this artificial sell-off. Now, how do I know with certainty that I can pretty much give 90% of the blame to the CME Group? Well, let's look at gold. Gold is not having a huge sell-off. Yes, gold is having a correction. Gold is moving down just as oil is moving down and different things are moving down after they had huge runs up. I love how people love to point to one day or 1 week and then all of a sudden, look, the deflation, it's here. Okay, the overall trend for the whole decade has been inflation. It has been inflation, actual monetary inflation, and as a result, price inflation. So, I mean, all these people who love to come on here and talk nothing but crap, I use the other word, but I don't want, in case any kids are watching, But they love to talk a lot of trash to me. And look, the fact is look, what? I mean, I've got you on 5-6 years. And you're going to point to this 1 week where the deflation person was right, where silver's gone down. I mean, come on, give me a break. Most people who watch my videos have been buying silver from $10 to $20. That was the vast majority of my videos have been silver in that range. Silver today is at $35 an ounce. I would say that's pretty significant, you know, for most people. Now, most people who ran and got excited and bought silver at 50, that was probably a mistake in the short term. In the long term, silver's going way past $50. I mean, screw the inflation, screw deflation. The fundamentals for the supply of silver, they are not mining enough silver to meet the demand of physical silver that's needed. Not just investor demand, I'm talking about the industrial use for silver. Now, when we look at these jobs numbers, let me go real quick just on silver, one more point. One thing that I try to do personally is just buy things when they're going down. Don't buy them when they go up. I mean, here's something I've learned, and I think everybody has to learn this in their own way. And sometimes even knowing it, you'll break the rule. When you feel a sense of urgency, when you feel like it's going up, and you've got to get in, that's usually when you don't want to buy. Because that is just the animal spirit, and that is pretty much a recipe for disaster. Luckily, if you did it with silver, I think silver is going so much higher. I think silver, and I know this makes me sound crazy, but when I look at the fundamentals for silver, you know, there's less silver, less than 1 billion ounces of above ground available silver, 5 to 7 billion ounces of gold. When I look at the fundamentals, I don't doubt in my mind that silver will be 1-to-1 with gold one day, just as palladium and platinum have gone back and forth. So back to the jobs numbers. So what else was on MarketWatch.com? The jobs numbers: 224,000 jobs created. Come on, 175,000 jobs from the birth-death model. This is the system that I often talk about. They basically guess jobs. This birth-death model thing was creating hundreds of thousands of jobs during 2008 and 2009, during the Great Panic, during, you know, when it was obvious to everybody that businesses were closing down. This thing just kept cranking out fantasy jobs. And now we've got 62,000 jobs in this number are from McDonald's jobs. God bless the people who got those jobs. I know they were probably looking for a job. These are minimum wage jobs, and these are part-time jobs. But guess what? The headline number, these are all fully employed jobs. So it doesn't matter what you did before, if you have a college degree or you worked full-time somewhere else. Now you have a McDonald's job. And now you're considered, as far as the headline number, you're fully employed. You're making minimum wage, you're working just a few hours a week, but you are fully employed as far as the Ministry of Truth is concerned over at the BLS. Now, there was a number I wanted to point out too. People who want a job, that number jumped 232,000 in a month. There's also a record 86.2 million people not in the labor force. That is an all-time record. So, you know, we continue to see them mangling with the unemployment numbers. I mean, look, I don't understand who they think they're fooling. People I talk to every day in California. I mean, I know I live in this way artificial economy. And California's an 81% consumer economy. I mean, I know I live in a state where it's a little more jaded than I guess the rest of the country, but I talk to too many people who are unemployed or who can't find a good job or who are getting new layoffs. I'm talking government employees and private employees. So I don't know who they're trying to fool. I guess they're just trying to fool the markets, keep people buying, keep people think that their 401ks are going up, and somehow that means everything's okay. Well, anyway, I'm going to close out with this. I know I'm really long-winded on this one, but please check out the Vision Victory channel and share that video with your favorite blog. You guys have a great weekend. I'll talk to you next week. Bye.